title for answering questions is more of a decoration because it was neither tied to the course grades or nor provide students with much motivation for the class interaction. So by summarizing the result of the heuristic evaluation and the response of the system should provide more motivation to encourage students to engage in interaction. So for example, if our system cannot be linked to the course grades, we should consider increasing the title style and say as a face reward. So the titles can upgrade with the number of questions the student answered and will not disappear when the user enters another online class. And in addition, users also suggest that if they ask a question and didn't get a response or didn't notice it was answered, it may reduce their likelihood of continue to asking questions. So to let students who did not check the checkbox in time to know that their question have been answered, we plan to notify the students who ask the questions through a pop-up window or other ways when the question is answered. And these improvements will be implemented in our next prototype iteration. And next, welcome my teammate to introduce our functional prototype.
You're on mute.
Okay, sorry. After questionnaires and interviews, our group came to the conclusion that people didn't communicate much when studying online, so that their attention was not fully engaged in class. We did a let me share the font and this. The first one is about the video opening section. Click on the Open Camera More Options button to bring up the interface. Click on the checkbox Only host and co-host can see. Add a check mark in front of this button and also add Only host and co-host can see to the top left corner of the main video screen. The feature is about partly to cater for students who don't want to show their camera to everyone, and partly to help the teacher to capture the students' moments and to know if they have any questions about their expressions. The second feature is about the titles. You can see a wider symbol will appear to the left their avatar on the same day if a student answers a student's or teacher's question correctly more than 10 times in the chat screen, which not only provides a great incentive for students to interact more, but also allows them to address questions that the teacher has overlooked due to their busy schedule. In addition, students with these titles are likely to be favored by students, and more students will seek them out for help and thus build a better student relationship. This is what I am doing at this stage. Let's stop.
We still have a streaming function that is about the progress bar. So when the class is going, students can watch the previous contents of the class. So I will show you the website. so you can assume that this is a course content, and we use streaming to simulate the situation. So if you can see it's now streaming, and you can put it back to watch the previous content. So we are planning like this function in our system, so students can, if they miss some part of the course, they can review it immediately and just put it back and keep listening to the course now, and so they can keep engaging in the class and didn't feel they missed something. So these are the functions we have now, and we still have the chat box function about the sending questions and the unresolved and resolved mark to be done. So these things will be done in like next week, maybe. So that's all for our sharing.
Okay, thank you very much. How do you plan to utilize these prototypes moving forward?
You mean refine and like update?
Yeah, and testing. Do you plan to do any testing with these, or what do you hope to get from these prototypes other than their existence?
Yes, so we will, like after adding the functions and the chatbot function is implemented, we will still make a user evaluation.
Okay. I'm just checking my notes. Just a quick clarification question. The functionality that you've added, and that was derived from user interviews?
Yes.
Okay. All right. It would be good to see all of this together, and also to pick some content that sort of gets across the rather than sorry, my brain is still waking up. So rather than try and use everything that sort of gets that vibe across that you're in a class setting. So rather than chill, like a professor giving a lecture, there's plenty of those online. So you could use that instead. Concerns, I would like to see more refinement on the what you expect the user to be doing. So get like a scenario out that you're like, okay, we want the user in our prototype to be able to do this, and this, and we think these are the most important things to get across to the person who's engaging with our prototype in 2 weeks. Once you have that a good story sort of being told, then I think you'll get a lot of value from the prototype and get your message across why it needs to exist.
So do we put our scenario in our final documentation? Or?
No, it becomes the final prototype because you need to make sure that everything's connected together, and you need to make sure that it's all working together so that a person can just sit down and start engaging with it and understand why your prototype exists and how it relates to the social and mobile.
So do we need to combine our functions together as one website? Because we first think that we are required to build multiple prototypes, so each prototype has one function. Like that. I'm not sure if
you should combine them, because a user is going to engage with it. They're just going to sit down and they're going to start playing around, and you won't have control over what they do. So you need to make that process as easy as possible. So having it as 3 separate prototypes isn't going to make it easy for the user to understand what's going on.
Yeah, but what about the so in the assignment requirement we have like you need to submit like 2 or more prototypes.
So they should be iterative prototypes, as in one leads to the other, as in part of the design iterative cycle. That's my understanding, but I could be wrong.
What do you mean you could be wrong?
So
design life cycle to have from a first prototype. That doesn't necessarily mean low fidelity and then high fidelity. It could just mean variations of the same.
So you've explored different things, and you can submit all of them. And then I would, if as you're sort of gold standard final prototype, I would have that combined together to make it as easy as possible for the user. But just submit all of them; it'll be fine.
Okay, so it's like we just submit all the iterations.
Cool. We need to.
Sorry, one sec. Just.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry, just I'm just setting up the webcam. Hold on. Is it okay if I go first?
Yes.
How to spread awareness lifestyle amongst adolescents. So, based on my previous stand up, I was going for more of a game concept, where you would have to consuming nutrients. So the feedback I've gotten was negative, such as the game. No, at adolescent stage, no one would like actually find the game like really interesting. They would go for more mainstream kind of games. So, and the second standout would be, I mentioned that where you have to record yourself like consuming like food products by using your camera, snapping a photo of it, or just by taking a photo of yourself doing the tasks, like exercise tasks. So one thing it would violate would be its privacy. So that would be like one of the men on action. So like to keep track on like how many steps you take, stuff like that. So yeah. So I will now show the prototype for this one. So this is just the medium fidelity. Most of the function, the function is what is the purpose of
嗯，没上来了。我手机好像忘在车上。忘在我车上了。